Welcome back to the channel. I've recently made two clips about the kind of dragon boat gear that I use when I'm paddling. And in one of those videos I said I would come back to this particular paddle here. This is the Kialoa Zen, full carbon, fully adjustable by lever lock. And the lever lock action is right at the top here, right there. Now, I like to look after my gear, so because I paddle in seawater is very corrosive on metal parts, even stainless steel parts. Now this lever lock action adjustable paddle does have a number of stainless steel components in it, including pins, washers, cable, a bolt and so forth. So unless you flush these components out with fresh water after each session, rust will eventually start taking hold of those components. So I'm going to break this paddle down for you today. We're going to have a good look at it. I'm going to show you how I maintain this paddle so that rust doesn't get in there and start deteriorating those parts. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so let's start firstly by having a close look at the locking mechanisms on these two paddles. So I've got the Failer paddle there and I've got the Kialoa paddle beside it. So the Failer paddle uses a very common Allen key locking system. There it is there. That's about the only part involved in locking it down. It's a alloy collar. It looks plastic but it's actually alloy. Black collar, and you do up that Allen key bolt there, and that pinches the sliding shaft and locks it into position. So it's a very simple mechanism, and it has a scale on there to tell you what length the paddle is running at. The Kialoa paddle has quite a different locking mechanism. We'll turn it over so you can get a good look at it. So here it is here. This is their lever lock system. So I'll show you how it works. First of all, we'll remove it from the main shaft of the paddle. And to do that, all I'm going to do is lift up the lever. It's quite tight. Lift it up. There it is. Okay, lift up the lever. And now we're going to remove the top stalk. And you do that simply by giving the top bit a bit of a twist, and out it comes. Slide it all the way out, turning it as you bring it out. Sorry about the camera moving all over the place trying to do this. There we go. So there we have two separate parts. Now you can see the stalk has increments on it. It doesn't actually tell you what length you've got the paddle set at, but it does give you those inch increments. Now you can see inside the lever lock mechanism there is a stainless steel cable which runs the length of the stalk right down to this end here. Now I'm going to disassemble this so you can see exactly how it works. So let's have a closer look at that. Okay, let's go ahead and disassemble this lever lock mechanism from the Zen adjustable paddle. First thing you'll need to do is take this pin out here. So you'll need a pair of pliers just like this. You're just going to grab it and pull it out. Comes off pretty easy. The next thing you're going to do is the hole that that pin was in, hopefully you can see that. There's a hole there through that threaded bit. You're going to need something like this to put in there to stop that turning when you undo the bolt. Okay, see how it turns? Right, so we're going to put that around this side. We're going to grab the nut and we're just going to start undoing the nut slowly. There we go, the nut's loose. You can take this out now. Take it out, and that nut should come off freely now. So there you go. You've got a nut, you've got the pin. Now right here is a washer and a bung, a rubber bung. So we're just going to slip those off. They just come off like that. We'll just put that down. Have a look at these parts here. So that's just a big flat washer, round about the same diameter as the rubber bung. You can see it's got some recesses in the rubber bung, and those recesses they locate into these ones here. That's how they go on. They go on. It goes on like that, and they lock down into those recesses just like that. Okay, so remove that rubber bung. Now we're going to remove the inside of the stalk, and as you can see at this end, there is a cable in there. See the cable? And this is the end of the cable down here, the threaded bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the cable, and this is how we do it. Flip the lever lock up like that and just lift it out, just like that. Okay, then the cable comes all the way up. Let's do that again so you got a good sense of it. All right. So there's the lever locked down. Just lift it up. It's just going to lift up, and this whole piece just lifts out. Just wiggle it out, and that'll bring out the cable along with it. And there you go. That is the stalk pretty much stripped down, and that's all it is. Just set that aside for now and look at this piece here. Okay, we're going to strip down the lever from the cable. Now if you can see this, the cable is held in place by a pin. There it is right there. It goes right through the lever, right out the other end, and it goes through an eye at the end of the cable, which holds it into position. So we're going to punch this pin out now so you can have a good look. Just going to use a pin punch to get it started. See the pin coming through? I'm going to show you something in a second about this pin. We'll just get it all the way through. So you'll notice that this pin is bent, right? Now, Kialoa, if you're watching, what you could do is make this pin a larger diameter. And now the reason why that pin is bending is because of the pressure that's put on it when the lever is locked into place. So that would just be a very simple design improvement to save me and other people having to straighten out that pin before they have to put it back into position. But anyway, there's the end of the cable. There's the hole that the pin goes through. And those are pretty much all of the parts, the metal parts inside the Kialoa lever lock setup. Now, as I said before, if you allow seawater to get into these parts, they will rust very quickly. So I like to strip this down every now and then to give it a good clean out, a good flush out with fresh water, to make sure that the rust isn't getting hold of rust isn't getting hold on those metal parts. So I'll go ahead and put this back together, but it's quite a simple setup. Now, how it actually works I'll explain very shortly, but for now let's put this back together. Okay, so we've got this lever lock stalk reassembled, and I'm just going to talk through now how it actually works. So at the bottom here you have this adjustment nut, and you have the end of the cable which has a threaded end on it coming through. Now how this all works is when this stalk goes into the shaft, let's just put it in there for now. When that goes into the shaft and you set that at whatever height you want on this scale, and then you go to lock it into position, what happens is the lever pulls on the cable. It exerts force on the cable, right? Just like that. You can feel the pressure there. And what's happening at the bottom of the stalk, I'll just take this out again. What's happening at the bottom of the stalk as you push this lever down is that rubber bung is getting compressed and expands, and that will be expanding inside the shaft of the paddle, and it's that pressure against the inside of the shaft of the paddle that is locking it into place. I'm not sure if you can see this, but that rubber bung is expanding slightly as I'm putting pressure on it. So that's how the lever lock system works from Kialoa on their fully adjustable Zen paddles. So I'm going to go ahead now and set this up to how I had it before. So if you feel there's not enough tension in the cable to lock the stalk into place, all you do is you turn this nut clockwise. Turning the nut clockwise will adjust the tension on the paddle as you go to lock the lever down. Now it's up to you as to how much pressure you want that lever to apply, and it is very much a matter of trial and error as to how much pressure you're going to set at this end for you to have a comfortable lock on the stalk. So it'll just be, you may have to set and test it and then reset it, but it doesn't take too long at all. So there you go. Now, in terms of cleaning these parts out, what I do is I simply flush them with cold, fresh water. And I will pour water down there, fill that stalk up, give it a good shake around, empty it out, and then hang it up, upside down in the hot water cupboard, like this one here, and allow that to dry out overnight. With the blade end of the paddle, I fill this shaft up, maybe 3/4. I give it a good shaking around with fresh water, and then I drain it out, and I also hang this up upside down in the hot water cupboard or a drying cupboard to allow that water to drain out, and then it's ready for use the next time. Well, there you go. That's how I clean out my Kialoa Zen adjustable carbon paddle. There are other makers of lever lock type paddles out there. Hornet is one of them, and there's probably others as well. But if you've got a lever lock action paddle with metal components in it and you happen to be paddling in seawater, I'd be interested to know how it's all holding up. Have you noticed rust taking hold, or are you a regular cleaner of the paddle as I am? Anyway, I hope that video was useful.